Well, on behalf of the Jasper Chamber, I just thank everyone for signing on today and logging in with the Zoom method. As you know, normally we would be doing this in person, but really these seminars have worked out to be pretty nice and people can attend in the comfort of their own home or their office or wherever they are. We have had the succession planning topic on our back burner for probably 3 years. And I decided it was time to bring this up and address the topic. Really, COVID has nothing to do with this. It's just really a matter of looking around our community and seeing businesses that are owned by someone maybe who's getting older and maybe don't want to own their business into the next 10 years for sure. So anyway, we're very happy to partner with the Small Business Development Center, the Gail and Bill Cook Center for Entrepreneurship, and with German American, with Gary McCall. I've not met Gary until today, but I heard good things about him through the Small Business Development Center, and we're excited to really mold this partnership into something that we hope to have for many years to come. So I'm going to leave it at that, and we'll go ahead and let Jack kind of take over with some housekeeping duties, and then we'll turn it over to Gary. So thank you again, everyone.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you very much, Nancy. Good morning, everybody. My name is Jack Dreesen. I am the coordinator for the Gail and Bill Cook Center for Entrepreneurship and the South Central Indiana Small Business Development Center. Today, I am the producer for this webinar, and I just want to go over a couple of ground rules. Today, we are in the webinar version of Zoom, so that means that all of you are participants today. That means that you can communicate us through chat. There is a Q&R section, or a Q&A section on the Zoom. So just ask the questions. Please put those in either the chat or the Q&A, and Gary will get to them as soon as we can. Let's see, aside from that, I hope that we have a very lively discussion. And Gary, I pass on the webinar to you.
Pass it on. Thanks, Jack. Thanks, Nancy. It's going to be a little bit different, I guess, should I say. I guess that's the new norm anymore, is everything that goes on is a little bit different. But I've done a lot of seminars over the years, and they've always been in person, where I've got to, see facial reactions with how I've talked with people and what things people, generally you can get a read for what the audience is trying to think of. So it's going to be a little bit different for me, just working straight through a presentation and trying to give you some stories and give you some feedback. But we'll do the best we can. And as you guys, if you have questions, please stop and get them to either to Jack and he can get those to me. I'd rather it be more informal that way. If you guys want to, I think that's fantastic. Chances are, if you're thinking of a question, someone else may have the exact same question, and it's probably, there's no wrong questions to ask. So the topic, succession planning for your business and the next generation, plan for the unexpected. I've always had, in 30 plus years of doing this, planning for the unexpected is how I've worded probably everything that I've done, because no matter how much you plan, other things are going to arise. Unexpected things are going to arise. Kids are going to come back into the business. Kids are going to want out of the business. Something's going to happen with the value of the business before it's ready to be valued. There's all sorts of things that can happen. So you have to sort of roll with the punches with that. So in 30 plus years of being in this business, 70 to 80%, maybe even closer on some years, 90% of my business is in the succession planning, buy-sell agreements, working with accountants and attorneys, making sure family-owned businesses are ready to pass to the next generation. If you have a question today, and it might be on the personal nature, and you don't want to ask that and have everyone here or have me respond to it with everyone else, my email is on here. It's gary.mccall@germanamerican.com, or that phone number underneath there is a direct line to me. That's my cell phone, and that's all I ever use for work anyway. So with that, Jack, can we go on to the next page, and I'll sort of go through the stages and the process of what the next couple little slides are going to be like. So stages in the planning process. And I'm going to cover, if we take a look at what everything that is in these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different things, and we get into implementation, that would be 2 to 3 hours worth of discussion points when we get into business organizations and succession strategies and different things. So we're not going to get through everything today. We're going to try and keep this to about 30 minutes. And it might even be a little bit faster than that, depending on how fast I talk. But then we'll go from there. So an initial meeting, when I get a meeting with a client, when I get a meeting with a group of people like this, 8, 10 people, 5 people, whatever it is, if I know that most of those people have not done a plan, I would love to be able to ask right now, how many of you have started a plan in the past or thought about having a plan, but just haven't started it? And I love to see a show of hands when I'm working with people in a seminar, because generally I will get 50% of the people. Then I like to ask people a lot of times, how many people have started a succession plan or a family plan more than once? In other words, you've started it 2 times, you've started 3 times, you've just never finished, and a lot of hands will stay up. And I think the part of that is working with someone that understands this is a process, working with someone that's going to keep you focused on the next step, because there's a lot of steps that you got to do. So the initial meeting is getting someone like getting someone like you guys that are listening today. You have to decide to act. If you're not committed, if you haven't decided to say, I am ready to go to the next step, then we're really probably not going to get very far. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time on some questions, the family dynamics of what happens. I'm going to go through probably 3 examples today. And some of you may, and when I normally use these 3 examples, when I can see the people's faces, I see smiles. I'll see spouses elbowing each other. I'll see kids looking at their dads going, yeah, that's you, Dad. I'll see different things so I'm not going to get those responses today. But you know, the examples that I'm using are still very, very true with how things are today. And then I'm going to work through after family dynamics, assembling a planning team. I think that's key. And if I have any time left over, there's a couple things during this discussion and planning meetings, and then I'll go all the way down through, and there's the last slide has a couple things I just want people to remind you of. So let's go ahead and go to the next slide, and we will go from there. The initial meeting, deciding to act. I don't know how many times I've gotten into the meeting with mom, dad, business owner, 2 partners, and whether a commercial lender has set this up, a wealth management person a wealth employee has set this up, it's a referral from an accountant, whatever it is. And I just don't have the buy-in when we're sitting there talking with the clients. And I know that I've got, if the client is really going to want to do this, they have to buy in that says, okay, we're willing to make decisions and do this. So what I try and do is ask them questions. And I think my job is to ask questions of all of you to disturb you enough, to make you think enough that this is what I need to do. I really need to do this. Now, whether you do it with me, whether you do it with your planner, whether you do it with your insurance guy, whether you do it with your accountant, whether you're an attorney, I consider it a success if you guys if one person in this group today decides, you know what, we need to make sure we get this done, because there's too many bad things that can happen if we don't do it. Then I'll consider that 100% success.